What's up, Brozones? Welcome to the Ozone and welcome to another Gravity Falls video. Today we are jumping back into Journal 3 and I'm really enjoying my time so far, but we have got some very cool stuff to decode now, I think. So let's just get straight into it. If you haven't seen the first episode, obviously go and do that. Also, the other thing is I am starting up a Patreon. I already have a lot of my Gravity Falls videos on there now, so if you want to see the full reactions, then you can go there now, as well as Owl House reaction videos that I haven't started yet, but we're going to do that soon. And if you want to watch the full reactions to Gravity Falls for free, then the first 3 videos are up there for free members, so you can go and watch those right now if you want to. Anyway, I'm going to stop blabbering on and promoting my stuff. Let's get into the PDF again. So, of course, this is where we left off. So we went through quite a lot of really cool stuff here. Cool stuff. I turned to the frickin' stomach-faced duck. Of course I do. I remember we had like the bottomless pit and stuff like that. We had a lot of monsters, the abominable bro-man, stuff like that, leprechauns. So that was all really cool. But now we seem to be getting into sort of some weird stuff, and that's what is expected of this book. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of jokes and stuff because this is an Alex Hirsch series, and he is such a jokester. He loves a good joke, but there is, of course, going to be also the secret decoding of things and stuff. So we are turning to what I believe in the franchise is called Blendon's Letter. That's what I gathered from the comments anyway. And you guys are very good now about like not spoiling things. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it in the comments. Just please try not to talk about anything that I haven't seen already. So anything further than this point in the book, I guess. So yeah, so let's kind of have a rewind. So while researching history in the library archives, I found an unnoticed rusty ancient box with the word Pines scrawled on it and an etching of a key. Curious, I broke it open and found this. I cannot understand the code, so the meaning is lost on me. One day I may decipher it. So a few important details here. First big important detail is look at who it is. It is Blendon Blandin from the Time Variance Authority. I keep forgetting their names. I need to learn it. But from the Time people, from the future, 2077 or whatever. So this guy's very important in the series. I would say very important, but he is a very important character for at least like 2 or 3 episodes. And then, yeah, second thing that we need to talk about is while researching history in the library archives, this was found in the history section of the library archives. So it's clear because he's a time traveler, of course, and because it has the word Pines on it, that Blendon stuck this here for the Pines family, knowing that they would go to the library researching ancient history or the history of Gravity Falls and stuff. So this was almost put here for them to find. And the third thing that I find interesting about this is ancient box with the word Pine scrawled on it and an etching of a key. That is a very key detail, no pun intended, because this is clearly a Visionaire cipher and the key is going to be Pines. I bet you. I can tell you right now it's not a Caesar cipher because this I mean, it doesn't translate to anything. And the only Caesar cipher we really use in Gravity Falls is the three letters back. So this is all very interesting stuff, I think. And something else that you guys told me. Oh yes, something else you guys told me was I pointed out in the last episode that there would be things in here that, like, for example, like Ford's name or Ford's like portrait or whatever, that Dipper would see and he would be like, oh yeah, that's clearly Sam's brother. He would have noticed earlier in the series. But they also do mention that there were recovered pages in here. So obviously like pages that were lost while Dipper had it, but then they were recovered afterwards. And of course, Ford could have written in these books before they were I'm a bit confused because in the series they were technically destroyed, right, by Bill Cipher. I think they were destroyed, but we seem to have this kind of lore here where it was sent out, it was auctioned off or whatever. But oh well. Anyway, yeah. Obviously, Ford could have written new pages in after Dipper read it. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get to the interesting stuff. So all of this is encoded in some sort of Vigenère cipher. Some gay Vigenère, as we like to call it on this channel, because I misheard it in the intro as gay Vigenère instead of key Vigenère. So how do we go about this? Well, the way I would go about it is I would look at this, I would write down every single letter, or I would go onto Google Lens or whatever and make sure I've got down the correct letters. And then I would go into my Vigenère solver, which can only do like 30 letters at a time. And I would go through each 30 letter portion of this text and solve it 30 letters at a time. I'm not going to do that because I have a life to live, and I'm sure you guys also have lives to live and you don't want to be sitting around watching me do a Vigenère cipher for that long. So instead, I have actually just copied the cipher text off of like a fan website or whatever, a wiki, I think it probably was. I can't remember where I got this, to be honest. But this is the exact same text, rest assured. So this is what we're going to use, and as well as that, we are going to be using this tool right here. And don't worry about the ads. I can't get rid of them for some reason. I hate it when websites do that. So this is a Vigenère cipher solver. This is actually a really, really good website, decode.fr. And this is a place that I use quite frequently, not only to decode certain ciphers, but to encode for some videos and stuff. And I think it's very good. You can obviously, there's a lot of information about Vigenère ciphers, but there's also Beaufort cipher, Caesar cipher, Vigenère multiplicative cipher. We've never seen that. Trithemius cipher is a Vigenère cipher where it's just, the key is just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's very cool stuff. I actually have some videos coming out about that soon, potentially. They've been in the works for so long, but I haven't gotten around to filming them or anything. Anyway, we're going to take this text. We're going to Control A it and Control C it. We're going to paste it. And there's also one cell down here, which I need to do that too as well. 1883. Okay, so interesting. So I think that shows that this is taken from 1883. So that's interesting. And then right here, knowing the key or the password, it's Pines. So we're going to decrypt. And I already did this before the video started. The reason it appeared there is because I started off with the first line and it came up with Hey Dipper and Mabel. So I was happy that it would work. So I haven't read this yet. So can we copy this? Oh, results. Copy. I think that's a copy. And then we can put this here. And then we can wrap some text. You know how it is. Okay. Is there a better way? Okay, let's just read it like this. I hope that you can read this. Actually, let me just change my thing real quick. Okay, so this thing, we're going to read through this and it might blow my mind. I don't know. We're going to see. Hey Dipper and Mabel, Blendon here. I'm currently living in the year 1883 and I hid this letter in hopes that it would one day reach you. There we go, that's my suspicions that were correct. I got the idea from the movie Return Backwards to the Past Again 3, which is required viewing for Time Academy freshmen. That is a reference to Back to the Future 3. Which, isn't Back to the Future 3, is that the one where it's like cowboys and stuff? I don't remember. I can't remember. I haven't watched those movies in a long time, but they're very good. You've probably got a lot of questions, and after the events of Weird Mageddon, man, I don't blame you. That's interesting. Also, this letter was recovered after Weird Mageddon. Okay. I don't blame you. So here's what happened. After Globnar, I was getting a lot of flack for losing a gladiator fight to 2 children. Even though I got my job back, thanks for that, by the way, My fellow officers kept calling me hurtful nicknames. Time Baby himself called me no friend in Blandin. Do you know what it's like to live like that? Just as I was thinking I would give anything for Time Baby's respect, this weird triangle guy showed up in my dreams and said that he would make sure Time Baby never bothered me again. All I had to do was shake his hand. No! No! No way! Okay, I've never been great at making decisions under pressure, and well, you know the rest. When I awoke, that stupid triangle had used my body to travel through time and destroy the entire universe, and Time Baby too. Luckily, Time Baby isn't dead, exactly. It will take 1,000 years for his molecules to reconstitute, and when they do, boy, is he going to be cranky. The time agents also survived. They only send their hollow projections out on dangerous missions, but Lolf and Dundgren were furious about what I did. Of course, that means that there is a dimension-wide manhunt of agents trying to find me and bring me to justice. But it was all a mistake. The last thing I want to do is go back to jail, so I've been hiding out in the past. It was fun for a while, seeing the sights, chatting with historical figures, visiting the 50s to try to learn the twist. I accidentally twisted my ankle and couldn't walk for a week. I wanted to check out the Old West too, but when I travelled here, I accidentally reappeared in front of a train and my time tape was shattered into 50 pieces. Also, I think the train might have gone off the rails. Hopefully that isn't in the history books. Anyway, I just wanted to say not to worry about me. I've managed to blend in to the populace and I got a job as a pocket watch repairman. I've also caught one of those cool gold rush era diseases that are so popular in these times, and I'm loving the nostalgia. Thanks for all your help, and if any time agents come looking for me, tell them you don't know nothing. There's also a little bit at the end. Oh, it's here. Wait, his middle name is Benjamin. Benjamin Blandin, 1883. That is incredible. That wouldn't have been worth like the hour it would have took to do it manually with all of my stuff that I've created, like this thing that I've created here. But that was very worth the read, at least. I loved that. That was really good. So some interesting things about that, right, is so the events of what was it called again? Globnar. The events of Globnar happened, which we saw in Blendin's game. Then after that, like timeline wise, after that, everybody kept calling him hurtful nicknames. The Time Baby himself called him no friend in Blandin, and the weird triangle guy, Bill Cipher, showed up and they shook hands. They had a contract, and essentially what that meant is that Bill now had power over Blendin. Now, if you rewind to the last episode before Weirdmageddon, I'm sorry, I forgot what it's called, we see Mabel in the forest, and then Blendin approaches and then smashes the thing that lets off Weirdmageddon. So that, in terms of the timeline, that makes a lot of sense, right? Bill takes control of Blendin. Blendin comes to Mabel. Blendin as Blendin destroys the thing that starts Weirdmageddon, and then he destroys Time Baby, etc., etc. And this is just giving more context to that. And I think that is, like, that's amazing. That is exactly what I want this book to do, right? I would love this book to just give more context behind a lot of the background characters, or not even background characters, but side characters in the show that kind of explain a little bit more as to what actually happened and the history of how they came to be in the present day. So I think that's very interesting. And now he's stuck in 1883. I don't know if we're ever going to see him again, but that's very funny. I really like that. It's good to know that Blendin's alright, because I don't know if we ever actually saw him after the events of Weirdmageddon. I might be completely wrong about that, but so he's hiding in the past. It is reminding me a lot of the Loki series. I'm sorry to keep referring back to that, but just the way like they're hiding in different, the variants are hiding in different times, so that the Time Variance Authority couldn't get to them. Anyway, that was really cool. Let's move on with the next few pages of the book, I guess. Okay, so now we're moving on to Nathaniel Northwest. So obviously Northwest And this was the guy who was apparently the founder of Gravity Falls or the mayor or something, but it wasn't actually. We found out it wasn't actually him. It was Pluribus. No, Pluribus was part of the thing. I can't remember. What was his name? Oh, Tremblay. Tremblay. So the reason I said Pluribus is because they said Pluribus in some sort of code in that episode, and then I thought that that was part of his name, but it isn't actually part of his name. It's like a motto or something. Anyway, I'm not American, so I have no idea. In researching the town law, I have found quite a few bizarre laws and customs passed down from the founders' days. For example, an old law forbids a house from holding office until it is of legal age. To do what? There were also 46 different laws involving when, where, and how to properly court a woodpecker for marriage. Don't ask. Most of these absurd laws are attributed to town founder General Nathaniel Northwest, a man whose only battle skills appear to have been wearing a jacket with fingers and posing for dequentiotypes. I don't know what that says. So interesting. So is that implying that everything that Tremblay did was actually attributed to Northwest because of some blurred lines in history? That's quite interesting. Due to this legend, Nathaniel's descendants, including current patriarch Alderman Northwest, have enormous power in this town, owning everything from Northwest Realty to Northwest Mudflaps to Northwest weather vanes that often seem to unfairly favor the directions north and west. That's great. It would seem that that their power is unquestionable. However, a new piece of evidence throws the whole history of the Northwest family into an entirely different light. In my investigations, I recently made a discovery. Nathaniel Northwest may not be the founder of Gravity Falls. Imagine his entire family legacy a fraud. I believe the proof of this secret is buried somewhere in the enclosed document. If only I would crack the code. Oh, yeah. This is from that episode. I forgot about that. So I forgot that Journal 3 actually led them to finding Tremblay. So there was this letter enclosed, and then Mabel took it and turned it into a hat, and then that solved the thing, because she was just as her mind was just as strange as Tremblay's. Hey, it wasn't so hard to crack. All you need to do is make it into a hat. I mean, this is like basic code cracking 101. Time to up your game, author. Love, Mabel. So interestingly, this is pink text or whatever. And yeah, so before we were like, who actually is writing this? 2077, Giant Baby takes over the universe. What? I was like, who is writing this? It is in pink or whatever. Like, Dipper is in blue up here, Quentin Tremblay, man. But who is writing in pink or red or whatever you say this color is? But now we know from this that was indeed Mabel. And that does make sense, because Mabel obviously went to 2070, or did they go to 2012? I can't remember. But they must have done. I think they did for a little bit. Anyway, yeah. So Mabel would know about that, and Ford wouldn't. Anyway, so that's interesting. August 3rd. This strange document has proven indecipherable. Nonetheless, I believe its very existence is proof enough that the Northwest family history is a fraud. I travelled to Northwest Manor to confront Old Man Northwest with this evidence of his family's deceit, but instead was met by his snotty son Preston and his pet fox Hunter. Not wanting my well-rehearsed tirade to go to waste, I launched into a list of his family's crimes, lying about founding the town, breaking treaties with the natives, making self-promoting weather vanes. The boy was unmoved until I offhandedly mentioned the Great Flood of 1863. He was so panicked about what I said that he had me forcibly escorted from the premises. Have I stumbled upon one more misdeed of this accused clan, probably, right? Interesting. Okay. Cool stuff. The Northwests do have a lot of history when you think about it. I feel like I'm missing a lot. Like I feel like I'm looking at every page really thoroughly and I'm not seeing anything. And I was expecting there to be like random codes hidden in random places, but I don't see anything yet. And I'm a little bit suspicious because people have said to me, and I've seen it in the last video's comments as well, is like there's like a code for every other page in this book or something. That's insane. Oh, as soon as I say that. Oh, that's right, because we can't solve this yet. We don't have the knowledge to solve these codes yet. That's right. Okay, I just misremembered. Okay, I put one cover up aside and have begun to investigate another. The Great Secret of the Great Flood. I followed the flood path back from Northwest Manor toward my own house and made a gruesome discovery. Oh, right. This is the axe guy, the lumberjack from the Northwest Mansion mystery, which obviously ties into this whole theme that we're talking about right here. And this was, I think they mentioned the Great Flood in that. That was the reason, because the Northwests live on a hill, right? But they weren't letting people in. Was that what happened? Something like that happened, and it caused chaos, and it killed that one guy who is now a spirit, one of the 10-tier ghosts. So this is very interesting to hear more about. So I followed the flood path back from Northwest Manor toward my own house and made a gruesome discovery. Countless lumberfolk died in the flood of 63, and all of them were under the Northwest's employment. Was that the flood of 63? It seems that many, if not most, of their cadavers had washed up directly under my own porch 100 years before I was here. No wonder Northwest Realty sold this land to me at a discount. This property is built on a graveyard, which may explain why I had so many recent sightings of the undead. Ha ha ha. Dun dun dun. Okay. So obviously we saw this page in episode number 1, because this is we believed that Norman, the normal man, was in fact a zombie. Turned out he was gnomes. It was just a red herring. So that's very interesting. The undead, known for their pale skin and bad attitudes, these creatures are often mistaken for teenagers. Beware of Gravity Falls, nefarious zombies. I feel like that was actually read out by Dipper in the first episode, but I need to go back to the first episode and rewatch that. It would be interesting after reading this journal, and maybe even Book of Bill, to actually go back through the show. I know that's what you guys have technically done because you've watched the reaction series alongside me, right? But it would be really interesting to go back afterwards, and I probably won't do it on video, but it would be interesting to go back afterwards to see if there's any more connections we can make after reading this and after seeing what Journal 3 is actually about. It's quite interesting. Much like teenagers, they move in packs. Interesting. They're very susceptible to bright lights and peer pressure. Okay. Extremely dangerous. I think we've seen some of the... Oh, obviously we've seen the undead in episode 1 of season 2. And we've seen, of course, Robbie's family live next to a graveyard. And I had the theory that Robbie is a zombie. I don't know if that holds up anymore, but there was so much evidence for him. I mean, come on, guys. Cut me some slack. Cut me some slack in the comments. Tell me that it wasn't a stupid idea that Robbie was a zombie. There were so many signs connecting it. I feel like he should have been. And I feel like maybe it will be revealed in a future book or series. Imagine. Okay. Return library book, 8 out of 11. I think, yeah, we definitely saw this page as well in the series. Many seem to be undead lumberjacks from the flood, but since they bite new victims when they rise each month, I have seen a zombie mailman, a zombie cop, and a zombie boy scout. I refused to buy his cookies. What if their something is to increase? Their number must stop them at all cost. Destroy them before they rise. Their skulls are unbreakable. I cannot find a single weakness. I will watch my back at night and keep a shovel handy. Figure B. Perhaps there is a non-physical way to defeat them. Oh, what, by audio? Oh, that's right. I remember now. So, if we had the blacklight version of this book and we blacklight this, then this skull would show it being like, it would be like shattered. I think I'm remembering something, and it said like weakness karaoke or something. And so that's why they did karaoke in season 2, episode 1. So it will be very interesting again to go back through this with the blacklight edition. Yeah, this looks like a code, but I know it's not. I don't think it is, at least. Interesting. Since learning how dangerous my own lab grounds are, I have been researching forms of magical defense against zombies. Enchanted daggers are handy. I don't recommend double-edged swords, though. It is possible to cure zombification. Mix 1 cup formaldehyde, 1 teaspoon salt, 2 teaspoons paint thinner, 1 quart newt's blood, and a pinch of cinnamon for taste. Warlock potion right here. Okay, this only works until the 10th hour following contamination. If you take it any later, you're undead meat. Alchemy symbols. Makes sense because we're talking about potions. A zombie skull ground up can be used to coat your body. The smell will trick zombies and anyone else into avoiding you. Really? Okay. And we're going to learn about zombie curse next. That's going to be interesting. One thing I will say is there seems to be some yellow text behind this. I don't know if you can see it because of YouTube's quality shift or whatever. But there is some yellow text behind this, or yellow drawings or something. I don't know if that's the sort of thing I'm going to need to try to decode, but it looks pretty impossible to decode. Maybe I could turn up the brightness, turn up the contrast or something in Photoshop, but I don't know because there's things blocking it. Anyway, spells. 87, was that the bite of 87? For the sake of science, I suppose I should also include a zombie summoning spell. I'm not entirely sure why I'm writing this down, but I'm a stickler for being complete about a subject. That's right, because they summoned the zombies in season 2, episode 1. I really need to rewatch the series. It's been so long. Do not read out loud. Tough. Oh, I can't even read it. Stonehenge was either a spell amplification center or a place for the druids to play hide and seek. This chant, when read out loud, will conjure zombies for about 24 hours. Like most curses, it is both a blessing and a curse. Actually, it's just a curse. Corpus levitas diablo dominium mondo vicium. So corpse, so it's giving me undead vibes. Levitas is giving me levitating vibes, so zombies rise. Diablo, isn't that like hell? Or am I thinking of that? Am I thinking wrong? I think Diablo is like hell, or like a fiery inferno or something. Dominium is giving me domestic, I guess. There's another word that I'm trying to think of, like like the Dominican Republic. Dominion is that the word I'm trying to think of? But like it's trying to think of like a land, I think. Mondo, I think, is Earth. Is Mondo world? This is really testing my... Obviously, we can look this up, and I will look it up eventually. I just want to try and get through this without looking things up. And then we'll go through anything that I missed. Vicium, I have no idea. So, to sum up, I think it's saying zombies rise from... Zombies rise from the Earth's hell or something. I don't know. I think I'm close, but not there. This is interesting. FUHHSLHU. This looks like a Caesar. Or it could be another, it could be a different cipher. But we can test it, at least. Let's test it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's put it here. Oh, just like we always used to do when we were solving these codes in the episodes. So let's caps lock FUHHSLHU. Does that make anything? Creepier. Yes, it is a Caesar cipher. So let's have a look at the rest. WKDG. It's a Q. I think it's a Q. Creepier than. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this is just so difficult to read, especially when it's cipher text, because you don't know what letter it's supposed to be. PELHU ORFDO IXQHUDO. Let's see. Creepier than, zombier, local funeral. What is going on? I don't know what any of that means. GLUH. Oh my god, this is hard to read. FURU. I don't know. YLFURU again. YDOH. Is that a Q or a G? I think it's a Q, because N is probably more common than, what would it be? D. I think G goes into a D. So Q, what was I doing? U, is there an I there? I think that's an I. I'm going to go with an I. L, Q, I. And K, L. Is that a V or a U? I hate this. I hate this a lot. Oh. Okay. It's a V. It's a V. VRQ. FUHJJLEY. This one is a V as well, so it's going to be zombies rather than zombier. Let's have a look. Does it even work? Oh, God. Okay. Creepier than zombies. Creepier than zombies. Okay. Local funeral director. So that's a T. So sixth letter. Local funeral director. So that's... Oh, that should be a V. It's so difficult to tell. Oh, maybe it's a W. I think it's a W. Oh my gosh, this is hard. This is so hard. W. I think this is a W as well then. So let's go with that. Local funeral director, Victor Valent... Oh no! It's broken. His son... Wait. Are we talking about Robbie? Are we talking about Robbie being a zombie, maybe? Oh, we are, because this is going to say Robbie V. Not Craigie V. It should be Robbie V. Robbie V. So this is going to say, creepier than zombies, local funeral director Victor Valentino. And his son, Robbie V. Yes! We solved it. Sort of. I don't know how I messed up so badly at the end here, but I think we have it. Creepier than zombies, local funeral director Victor Valentino, and his son, Robbie V. There we go. That's what that says. And that makes a lot of sense, of course. Like, obviously, cryptology is not just about solving each letter. It's about solving in terms of the context. So if you have a solution that doesn't make any sense at all, then you kind of have to go back and think, is that really the solution? Are there two solutions? Because that is possible. That is entirely possible. But yeah, so that makes a lot of sense because obviously Robbie's father is well, we just talked about how Robbie's family live on a graveyard, essentially, and they have a lot to do with like death and funerals. Yes, so he's a funeral director, and I seem to remember his last name is Valentino, unless it's Valentine. Actually, it's Valentine, isn't it? It's Valentine, because that would make more sense with this. It would be a... Is it? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore. Oh no, because that's... what am I talking about? Anyway, you know what I mean. And also Robbie V. V is for Valentine. So there you go. Okay, back to this. So that was quite cool. I'm glad that we are seeing some things when they appear. Cool. Next, we have magic items. I was going to say magic stems until I realized that made no sense. While I'm on the subject, I would like to catalogue some of the most recent magical and mysterious items I have encountered in Gravity Falls. These put the junk sold at my family's pawn shop to shame. Cloak of occasional visibility, found in an ancient trunk at a local estate sale. This mysterious cloak makes its wearer completely invisible, half of the time. The other half of the time it flickers on and off again, usually at the worst possible moment, while you wander around trying to find a good invisibility signal. Very frustrating. What the hell is this? Found buried deep within the mines, this crystal head of a perpetually frowning bald man, labelled Baldwin, tells your future, but always in rambling complaints. Going to rebury him. I feel like I'm missing a joke here, but cool. Tie of possession. We saw this in the Stanturian candidate episode. My personal invention was created in college as part of a government-funded assignment regarding political persuasion. My prototype won first prize and was given over to men in black suits. They never gave me back the original, but luckily I kept a few others. That's really cool that he eventually got it back. Okay. Giant's thumb. Found in the forest with no explanation of any kind. Not sure if it's magical, but it certainly is a good conversation starter. Currently using it as a coffee table. If I ever have a hitchhiking emergency, this will come in handy. A bit concerned that an angry thumbless giant may return to retrieve it. Wow. That's cool. What is this for? Oh, I guess that's just part of the tie thing. Okay. Truth-telling teeth. This was in one of the mashup episodes, the one where they have multiple stories. I think... No, that was the gold teeth. I think this was something else. Anyway, the truth-telling teeth was quite interesting because Grunkle Stan had them in, and he was like, I have committed tax fraud, or something like that. A weapon to use against deceivers, at least ones with no teeth. Buried neath a tree stump in the deep forest are truth teeth, which force upon the wearer an inability to lie. Not sure who created these, but I certainly think a number of humans, politicians, lawyers, TV executives, etc. would be improved by their use. I hate pictures of teeth. I hate teeth. They're awful. It would be quite interesting to see what my brother and mother would act like while wearing these. As an experiment, I tried wearing them for a day. They fit over my regular teeth quite snugly, but I found immediately that people don't like me very much when I'm honest. I accidentally made the mailman cry. It's not my fault. He's abnormally hairy. There we go. The mailman is abnormally hairy. Because in the first episode, I think, Seuss said that the mailman is probably a werewolf, I think is what he said. Or he said something else. But... something like that, and I remember him being very hairy. So yes, that makes sense. Looks like we've got another cipher here. Is there a truth serum inside? That's quite interesting. Might be. Just got pulled over for speeding and admitted to it. The ticket was absurd. This is getting out of hand. I'm going to rebury these. I believe honesty is the best policy, except for when it's not, which is often. This looks like a code down here. This is where it is located in Gravity Falls. I'm surprised Dipper was able to find these in the end. So this is 90% something. You know what? Decoding these isn't difficult. It's just that I cannot read this cursive. It's really difficult to read. But let's have a look and see if we can figure this one out. So 90% we're fine with. V, X, U, that's definitely a U, and that's definitely a H, and that's definitely a K, H, V, D, and then this is the tricky part. Is that a Z? I think that's a Z. Z, H, U, H, and then what the hell is that? I can't tell what that is. I think that's a Z, R, O, I, but that could be terribly wrong. Sure, he's a werewolf. Ah, there we go. There we go. 90% sure he's a werewolf. There we go. I told you. I told you. That's funny. I love how they tie things together like that. Like, those were two completely different episodes. The truth teeth were not in the same episode as that werewolf joke, but I love how they tie episodes together like that because it makes the series feel more like a whole and it makes the world building a lot better. I think it's really good. Crystals. So this is this is from Little Dipper, I believe, the one where they shrink Dipper and Mabel and Seuss, and he goes, "Tell my story." Legends of miniature buffaloes and giant squirrels have led me to believe these are height altering properties hidden deep within the forest. Initial testing indicates these crystals hold the power to alter any living creature's height. Different colors perform different functions. A. Shrinking properties. B. Enlarging properties. C. Staying the same properties. This part's just a rock. I love how they tell you different colors perform different functions and they don't show you the colors. Could this be responsible for the 60-foot beaver attack of 1973? What? Do not ingest. You do not want your stomach growing out of your ears. Interesting. Height altering. There has to be something here. There has to be like a monster between the trees or something. They can't just draw that and not put anything. Anyway. Such power could be extremely useful as both a weapon and a tool. Plus, it might be nice to be an inch or two taller. I will have to search for the source of these crystals when time permits. Okay, long bit of text here. I feel myself weary from months of exhaustive research, and although I have found many incredible things, the grand unified theory of weirdness eludes me. I like how we're getting back to this. We're kind of... This is all... Ford's quest to find this grand unified theory of weirdness, and I like how they keep kind of returning to this theme because, again, it brings the whole book together, not just a load of random pages about different things. It's all one big search for the grand unified theory of weirdness. I need to get away and clear my head before I can make any meaningful progress on my theory. Local lumberjack boyish Dan Corduroy, which I think is Wendy's father? Yeah. Owns a majestic cabin in the most remote part of the woods. It has been in his family for generations, but sits unused. He hemmed and hawed when I asked to stay there for a few nights, but after paying him so handsomely for the construction of my own humble cottage, he was obliged to agree. He did, however, warn me to lock myself in my bedroom before the stroke of midnight or else risk losing my very soul. Sounds like he's been inhaling too much sawdust. Off to the cabin for some rest and relaxation. Were my eyes playing tricks on me? Must try not to think about this. Weird. Okay. Ghosts. Cool. We're going to learn about the 10 kinds of ghosts. Oh my god, look. We are nowhere near the end of this book. We have so long to go. Oh my god. It's not that I'm not enjoying it, it's just so long. It's going to take us forever to get through this. It's fine, we'll do longer episodes. We're going to do longer episodes. Ghosts. I now know why Dan feared lending me this cabin. It is exceedingly haunted. But if there is one thing I know about hauntings, it is that they always have a reason of some kind. Photographic proof. Okay. Restless spirits are looking for someone to put them to rest. Ectoplasm sample. Okay. I will simply conduct a quick seance, and ask the ghost what it needs. Although forming a circle is rather hard with one person. Don't be fooled by guys in sheets. I was wrong about everything. Rather than lay the spirit to rest, my seance summoned an untold number of this unearthly brethren. The ghostly sphere is so much more complicated than I ever imagined. Over the past 2 sleepless nights, I have been bewildered by no less than 10 distinct varieties of phantom, each deadlier than the last. Yeah, the 10 categories of ghosts. We start on the not-so-deadly end of the scale. Category 1. Ghosts in this category pose no threat to humanity. In fact, their fondest wish seems to be an impossible desire to rejoin the human race, or at least become the best friend of whatever person they can latch onto. The Category 1 I encountered in Dan's cabin kept trying to get me involved in G-rated adventures, oblivious to the fact that I am a man in his 30s and not a 13-year-old girl. We have a cipher here. Okay. Let's have a look at this. This looks, again, like a Caesar. Could very well be. I don't see why they would keep, changing the ciphers. Okay. What we have here is FUHH, slob. This is a lot easier to read. Why don't you learn your lesson from this, Ford? Come on. Nobody can read your writing. It's so annoying. KRUULIBLQJ. Creepily whispered, "Can I keep you?" Horrifying. What? Oh, okay. Fearfully, what was it? Creepily whispered, "Can I keep you?" Oh, that's OBS. Creepily whispered, "Can I feel you?" And then what was the last one? Horrifying. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So that makes sense. Oh my god, I'm opening apps that I don't want to open. Okay. Thank you. Oh, it's Casper. In other words, the only way a Category 1 can harm you is by annoying you to death. Interesting. Remember, show no interest in them and they will disappear. One word of kindness is enough to keep them around for years to come. Making things float is their only real power. Okay. Category 2, pranksters. John Travolta over here. Similar in appearance to Category 1's pranksters usually appear in groups of 2 or 3. That's because if any of these jerks were on their own, they'd get their transparent butts kicked all the way back to the netherworld. Always have kick me or possess me signs. They tape you to your back. On the bright side, they love to pick on Category 1s. I wonder what category the old man and women were who owned the convenience store. Category 3, gluttons. For creatures without physical bodies, gluttons are able to generate an incredible amount of body odor. These rapacious wraiths will breeze right past you and attack the contents of your refrigerator. Unfortunately for them, they are not able to digest anything they consume, so all your all your food ends up on the floor. Goer from the movie Phantom Bustifiers was clearly inspired by these ghosts. I can't read that. Again, Ghostbusters pun or parody. Category 4. Interesting. So, like, she's always watching. You've heard of paintings where the eyes follow you? Well, turn your back, and this phantom literally follows you across the room. Chance to dispel ghosts. Exodus demonus. Spookus scarus. Ain afraidus. No ghostus. Bumpus goosus. Shamlan. Shamalan. Okay. So Exodus demonus. A spell of demons or something. Spookus scarius. I think that's a load of rubbish. Ain afraidus. I think it's... Again, I don't think this is a real word. I think this is just saying, like, ain't afraid of us. Ain't afraid us, no ghostus. Bumpus goosus. Shamalan. Okay, fine. Haunted paintings and image-based specters. So this would be a double-page spread. She was able to leap from image to image. That's funny how it goes off the page and then it goes on to the next page. I love it when books do things like that. Even appeared in my $5 bill. This silver miner proved to me to be her only weakness. Silver. Oh, mirror. The silver mirror. Silver mirror shows spirit reflection. Yes, this was the tactic that Dipper used in the Northwest Mansion Mystery, I believe, to fight off the Axeman, the lumberjack. Apparently, trapping them inside a silver mirror is the only way to stop them. Oh, yes, he had them. He had him in the mirror. I hid the mirror in the closet to try to drown out the annoying screaming. Category 4s have no indoor voice. What the hell is this? What is this? Category 5, soul suckers. Soul suckers feed on the life force of their human prey. They work slowly and silently. Given enough time, they can consume their victim's entire soul. Fortunately, I discovered the one feeding off me rather quickly and squashed him like a supernatural mosquito. I have no idea how to clean the bits of life force off Dan's dining room table. Funny. I feel like in the show they said 10 categories of ghosts, and they were like, wait, we actually have to put this in journal 3 now. Oh no, how are we going to come up with 10 categories? And they came up with soul suckers and phantoms of pain, category 6. These guys dress in black leather and have some sort of painful looking jewelry sticking through various body parts. But what they really want is to inflict pain on you. Luckily, they can't touch you unless you summon them. The phantom I saw at Dan's tried to pretend that I had asked for him, but I simply said, nope. He muttered some lame threads, shuffled his feet, and then disappeared. Jerk. Category 7, the Eternal Key. One desperate soul in each generation is transformed into the Eternal Key, an unhappy apparition who never knows what she's supposed to do or where she's supposed to be. This makes for a very noisy haunting with lots of complaining. There's only one thing that will end the Eternal Key's torment, and she has no idea what it is. Category 8, the Petrifying Rock. With a lock. What's she supposed to do, or what she's supposed to do, is open the Petrifying Rock, unleashing the unperceivable, whoever he is. He sounds nasty. Luckily, these two have trouble synchronizing their schedules. The key wandered around being obnoxious for a half hour and then disappeared. 10 minutes later, the rock materialized. He gave one look around the place, sighed, and vanished. I have a feeling this happens a lot. I am a little bit sus of this page, because we have this thing here which certainly looks like ciphertext, and then we're talking about keys, which is, again, like cryptography lingo, as you will. The key is what we use to solve the Visionaire cipher. I'm thinking this could be a key, or it could be a cipher of some sort. So let's have a look at this and see if we can figure this out. Or it's probably, it might just be irrelevant to us right now. What is this saying? Yeah, it doesn't look like it's saying anything. Pick HPCO. I mean, that very well could be a key for a Visionaire. Or this could be the Visionaire ciphertext, and the key is... One desperate soul in each generation is transformed into the Eternal Key. I mean, the key could be eternal. Like, let's try that maybe. I doubt this is anything, but it could be eternal. Yeah, it's not gonna be anything. I'm probably blocking that with my face cam, but it didn't come up with anything. Category 9, Dream Hipster. Okay, dream hipsters are nefarious spirits who specialize in turning perfectly pleasant dreams into horrifying nightmares and then get all boastful about it. These guys are never satisfied with simply scaring you to death. They need to bring you to the brink of extinction and then pull you back from it so you can admire their handiwork. Please, just kill me already if I can skip all the bragging. Okay. I mean, he has all the utensils. He has a fork, a spoon, a knife, and a bottle opener. The classic four combo. After haunting me for 20 hours straight, the ghost in Dan's place finally took a break. I fell asleep and immediately started dreaming. I was back in school and everyone was staring at my hand. They all kept chanting, "Six-fingered freak! Six-fingered freak!" The more they chanted, the larger my hand grew. As usual, Kathy Grenshaw was there. Who is that? Who is that? I tried to shake my hand to make it stop, and it fell off my arm. My hand grew and grew and began to chase me. Suddenly, I realized my hand wasn't chasing me after all. It was chasing after my brother, and it was going to squeeze him to death. I grabbed him and lifted him into the air. I tried to run to help him, but my feet were frozen. Just when it looked like my brother was done for, the hipster appeared and said, "Looks like you finally gave your brother a hand." The entire thing was just a setup for one of the hipster's stupid, snarky puns. I woke up suddenly, thankful to be alive, and doubly thankful that I wouldn't hear any more dumb puns. However, I soon fell asleep again, and the hipster was back with another nightmare. This time he interrupted his own work about halfway through to make sure that I knew who was responsible and that I had heard his new terrible joke. More nightmares followed, and with each one some stupid one-liner. Well, I am not giving him the satisfaction of seeing any of them written down in this journal. Oh my god, there's some more ciphertext. I kind of, I'm happy when I see ciphertext, but I'm also like, for goodness sake. Especially when I see ones that look like they are written in Ford's handwriting. Because I cannot for the life of me get these. Okay, this is going to be a pain. So, LSUHIHUGUHDP and V. I wanted it to rhyme. ZL. Oh my god, is that IV? That's not even an I, is it? That's a W. WKP. What the hell is that? Is that an L? I think it's a B. PB. No, that can't be a... Oh, no, it might be a B. But then what? Because then that would be a Y. I don't know if that's a B. Oh my gosh. PXVH. KH. Okay. We're gonna keep going with this. And I might cut here. Okay, I have done my best here, but I feel like a lot of this is going to be really bad and not accurate, and there's not much I can do. There's not much else I can do. So, this is completely wrong, but we can probably understand, like, there's no way that's not an L. We can probably work it out from what we got. So, this is hard. I don't know what this is, but this is Dreams with My Muse. He told me that gum something. Oh, okay. I don't know what this first word is. Unless it's two words. Is it I don't know. But I'm guessing it's like, I have dreams with my muse. He told me that gum I like is going to come back into style. Okay. Oh, I prefer. I prefer. I didn't get it wrong. I just can't read. Okay. So, the full thing, and this makes a lot of sense because look at the page we're on. We're talking about dreams and stuff like that from ghosts. Or what? Yeah, nightmares, hipsters' nightmares and stuff like that. So that makes sense because this says, I prefer dreams with my muse, Bill Cipher. He told me that that gum I like is going to come back into style. And we almost got everything right there. We didn't get that H right, or it should have been a T, and we didn't get this T right. But interesting, we pretty much got there. And I also thought that this was one word. It looks like one word there. And there's another one down here as well that looks like I like. Yeah, again, that just looks like one word, but oh well. That's cool. That was a cool one. All right. Next, as far as I can tell, category 10s are the highest categories of ghost there is and the most dangerous. The Grim Reaper is merely the most famous of these phantoms, and I'm not nearly the most terrifying. The Grave Filler and the Slim Greeper are both more deadly. The Reaper simply had made an effort to get itself out in the public eye more than others. Good PR. When the temperature in my cabin dropped 30 degrees, the deer heads on the wall began screaming and the fireplace started to fill with blood. It occurred to me that I might have a category 10 on my hands. When this figure arrived, I knew for sure. This is very interesting because obviously we're talking about what happened in the Northwest Mansion mystery, and that is all about a lumberjack that was killed and then haunts the Northwest Mansion. Now, of course, Dipper runs into him, and this sort of thing happens. Absolutely. But what we're talking about here is we're not talking about that event. We're talking about Ford. And remember we were talking about in the series Ford and Dipper being parallels of each other, essentially. And then we have Mabel and Stanley being parallels of each other. It is a show about two sets of twins of the same family. One part kind of intellectual, etc., the other part messing around. But what we're talking about here is he's in Manly Dan's cabin, and these ghosts are appearing, and this is what's happening in the cabin, and it is the same. Notice that I keep saying Handy Dan. Manly Dan is a lumberjack, and we're talking about a lumberjack here. It's very interesting how it all ties together here, and again, this parallel thing it's very, very strong in every way possible. It's almost like Dipper is, like in the show, it's almost like Dipper is going through Ford's past and Ford's discoveries in Gravity Falls. It's really, really interesting, and I love the concept for the show. I think it's done really well. Category 10, danger, advice. Get the local rich girl to apologize to them. That is talking about Pacifica, of course. If you ain't afraid of no ghosts, you're an idiot. Fearing them is totally rational. Also, ain't afraid of no is a double negative. So either way, the ghosts win. Run fast. I love this art. That is really cool. That's going in the thumbnail. Don't you know it? Okay. Oh, that's terrifying. Oh, the one thing I'm the most scared of is giant squids, or just squids in general. If anybody used to play Club Penguin, there was a squid in that, and that was terrifying. Anyway, I'd had enough ghosts for one lifetime. I immediately fled from the cabin, clutching my journal and still dressed in my flannel pajamas. Of course, Alex Hirsch had to get the word flannel in there. What does my terrifying weekend at Dan's cabin has left me more... Oh, it's not one sentence. Okay. What does? My terrifying weekend at Dan's cabin has left me more hopeless about my investigations than ever before, and I'm beginning to reach my wit's end. Is this blood? Oh, it's a double page spread. I see. Okay. What does it mean? Yeah, so Dan's cabin left me more hopeless about my investigations than ever before, and I'm beginning to reach my wit's end. What does it mean? 6 years and these journals worth of research, and I am still no closer to finding answers than when I started. What is Gravity Falls' secret? How is everything connected, and why here? I love that we're getting to this. This is great. What is the unified theory of weirdness? I am exhausted and must sleep on it. Perhaps rest will do me some good. Let's have a look at what's here. So we're seeing a giant squid here, which we haven't seen, I don't think. Oh, no, I think we did see that. I think we talked about that was in the Society of the Blind Eye episode, potentially. I don't think we've seen this guy. This is a ghost. This is Probabilitor. Is that his name? It's that one guy from that one episode I don't really like that much. I think we've seen this one before. I can't remember what it is. That is literally Pac-Man. That's Pac-Man with cat ears. Okay. This is Cthulhu. Almost certainly Cthulhu. That's the rabbit with the deer antlers. I think that actually has an actual name, but I can't remember it. And then this is a spider. Was this the shapeshifter? It might be. This is obviously Bill Cipher. This looks like one of those Pokemon. It looks like a Mudkip or something. And then here we have the Gobblewonker. We have a flying thing. We have a gnome. Is this what's it called? What's it called? A harpy. Is it a harpy? I feel like that might be a harpy. I'm not very good with mythological creatures, so you'll have to excuse me. This looks like Sebastian the Crab from The Little Mermaid. This is pretty much exactly the same position that the Sasquatch is in the intro of Gravity Falls. The hidden frame. We spotted that. I was so happy when we spotted that. That was one of my greatest moments in Gravity Falls, I think, when we were slowing down the intro and we found that. I was so happy with myself. That's cool. So that's a Sasquatch. This is a mermaid to go with Sebastian the Crab. This is the unicorn that was so annoying. This is Baby Yoda. What the hell is that? It's a gremlin or like one of those toys. Furby. It's a Furby. Don't know what this is. Looks like an alien of some sorts. This looks like a phoenix, I would say. That is definitely a UFO. And then we have some other things here that I don't really care about. Okay. Whoa! The muse has spoken. This is a cool page. I like this. So, again, if you can't remember, I think Ford, whenever he's talking about muse, he's talking about Bill Cipher himself. Muse is just a term. It's a great band. It's also a term for like inspiration. So it's becoming more and more clear that Bill became Ford's inspiration, and they definitely had something more than just, dare I say, a friendship. I don't know why people go so crazy about this whole like Ford x Bill Cipher business. There must be something I'm missing. Or it's in this book. Or probably Book of Bill, I don't know. I awake after the longest slumber of my life with renewed energy and inspiration. My muse, that strange whimsical creature who speaks to me in my dreams, has returned to me at last. This time with an insight so brilliant it can only be described as divine intervention. All this time I've been looking for some common behavior to connect these anomalies. But what if what they all share is their history? A history that exists beyond our world, in another realm or dimension of weirdness. What if these various different creatures all leaked from their dimension into ours, and the leak is here in Gravity Falls? If I could locate and puncture this weak dimensional fiber and second proof of the dimension beyond, I would have my grand unified theory of weirdness. Interesting. It is an idea so pure and powerful I could never have thought of it on my own. Sometimes I cannot believe how lucky I am to have come across my blessed muse. How many other great historical minds has this brilliance inspired? Is he even real, or just a part of my fickle imagination? No matter, his insight is surely real, as are the blueprints he left me for a portal to another dimension. Okay, so this is talking about the portal that Ford was working on. Interesting. I love how we're seeing the development of Ford's mind and the like. It's interesting. He came across all these ghosts, and then he was like, "I'm tired of this. What does it all mean?" He's trying to put together the grand unified theory of weirdness, and then he rests, and then Bill Cipher talks to him, and he's like, "There is this portal," and then he starts working on the portal. It's really cool to see this evolution. And I like how this is all in chronological order, I assume. So yeah, what was I gonna say before? I can't remember. Yeah, I don't. Oh, I think I was gonna say something along the lines of like, it's interesting. It's interesting that Ford like looks up to Bill. I guess he didn't see. Oh, it's interesting that Bill is even like working with Ford. Like, I guess Bill's motivation in all this is to. I mean, we've seen the matrix, the transformation matrix that makes 2D into 3D. It's clear that Bill's aspiration and hope is to be something more than just dream. And I think the way that he does that is using Weird Mageddon, because it truly like brings him to life, and then he can rule or something. I don't know, but I don't know. Witness mentioned tear our dimension. It is a wormhole. That is how a wormhole scientifically is told to work, I believe. Because you have space time. I mean, this wouldn't be in 3 dimensions. This would be in like 12 dimensions or something like that. But you would have kind of the universe folding in on itself, and then you would be able to kind of go through a hole. It would be through a black hole. You'd be able to go through a singularity, and you'd come out the other side on the other side of the universe. It's quite interesting stuff. I love that sort of science. Just kind of like weird theoretical physics that would never be applicable to any of us at all. But it's funny and strange to think about. A triangular superstructure will best absorb the operating force. Really? I guess triangles are the most powerful or the strongest shapes, absolutely. But also hexagons are the bestagons. The central lens requires an alloy made of cobalt, titanium, and molybdenum. Okay. The purist in me wants to build the machine from scratch, but given my time and financial constraints, it does not seem feasible. I will need to borrow certain elements from the resource I have turned to in years past for my more ambitious projects. This is clearly a code that we can't solve yet. It also has the purple letters to note. I feel like the purple letters, like once you've solved every code in this, the purple letters are going to spell out another code, and that is going to be the big thing to solve in Journal 3. Okay. Seismic readings indicate that crash site Omega is still geologically stable enough for the removal of large amounts of material, but if my initial calculations are correct, then I may need to remove whole pieces of machinery and damage the actual hull. Further study is needed before I shall proceed. Seismic readings, we're talking about earthquakes. The instructions to power this will be far too dangerous to put in one place. I may need to separate them throughout my journals to be safe. The enormity of this task begins to overwhelm me. Yeah, so that's cool. That's a little bit of background as to why you need all 3 journals, and you need to put them together to actually get the big portal picture, which I assume we're going to see somewhere here. July 18th. The design of the machine has hit a roadblock. My own embarrassingly limited mechanical knowledge. Why did I stop taking hyper-advanced engineering and fifth-dimensional calculus after only 3 semesters? For what? To treat myself to that second semester of applied quantum phase theory? Surely once you know 4th-dimensional calculus, 5th-dimensional calculus is a piece of cake, and anything else above that. But I don't know. Application to the real world is very difficult. That's the whole like thing of string theory, right? Is string theory needs to be in like 13 dimensions for it to work. I think we talked about it a little bit before in the last episode when we were talking about the theory of everything. To treat myself to the second semester of applied quantum phase theory, well, this is where all my slacking off has landed me. I have no choice. I must call up my old classmate and beg him to join me. He is the only person I trust enough to share in this undertaking. I must persuade him to harness his mechanical genius in service to this project, or else abandon my machine entirely. It has been a while since I've talked to another person. I should probably shower. Old man McGucket, boys, yeah! Success! He has agreed to join me. With his assistance, I am confident we can complete the machine. He has already made several suggestions over the phone that I intend to incorporate into my revised designs. July 29th. This is like a month and a bit later. I am overcome with emotion. The sight of my old classmate upon my doorstep this morning filled my heart with such joy and gratitude. He has sacrificed so much to come to my aid. He has temporarily left his bride and their young son behind in California for the education of this project. Did we know that he had like a whole life in California? Oh, bless him. He has abandoned his own professional aspirations, although he has brought along a prototype of his pet project to fiddle with in his off hours. After all these years of self-imposed solitude, how wonderful it is to have a friend by my side. I must do all my best to make him feel at home. I am off to the store for some banjo strings and microchips. My assistant. Wow. Wow. The past few days have been the most energizing I've had since I first came to this town. I don't think I realized just how isolated I'd become until F arrived, and his brilliant mind and amusing quirks have made this task infinitely more enjoyable. I've told him no banjo playing after 8. Not a fan of his chewing tobacco habit. He grew up on a hog farm, so I suppose old vices die hard. He even casually hambones on his knees when he's counting in his head. I can put up with these quirks, but I told him if I ever see a pig in this house, I'm sending him back south. I double check my equations. He quintuple checks. This is so cute. I often catch him staring at this photo of his family back in Palo Alto. He says thinking of his loved ones keeps him grounded. I have a similar picture on my desk of Nikola Tesla. Makes sense. Nikola Tesla was a electromagnetist. I think he discovered the 3 laws of electromagnetism. Unless no. Was that Michael Faraday? That might have been Faraday that did that. I'm getting my scientists mixed up. Tesla definitely came up with the not the Tesla, that's Elon Musk. Tesla is a unit of what is it? It's not like electricity. Tesla. I forget what it is. But it has something to do with electricity and stuff like that. So Nikola Tesla played a very large role in electrodynamics and stuff like that. He carries new computing technology with him everywhere. He predicts in the future these disks will be 10 times more floppy. Floppy disks? I don't know what a floppy disk is, but I know it looks something like that. Portable computer, his pet projects. He's made one for me that has extra orange master keys for my extra finger. Honestly, not sure why I would use this thing. It's just a heavy, slow journal. This is interesting. So this is what we saw in the series. Not sure why this is here, but okay. Property of F, so Fiddleford. Or Ford, actually. That's probably Ford. No, it's Fiddleford. No, it's Ford. It might be Ford. I don't know what it is. It's Fiddle Ford. Either way, it's got Ford in the name. I'm interested to hear what the password for this would be. Wasn't it... How many letters long was it? Was it 4? No, it was 8. So I think it might be Stanford. Did we ever learn? Maybe I'm just completely misremembering my brain. What is this? That looks like an algorithm to solve a Rubik's Cube. There is no way that that is an R. No, that's a C. Cubic's Cube. Okay. I keep scrambling this Cubic's Cube when he's not looking, and he keeps solving it without hesitation. I think it would make him crazy to see it unsolved for more than 2 seconds. I'm thinking of modifying it to be unsolvable just to see the look on his face. Imagine. All you'd have to do for that is literally rotate one of the corners or something like that, because then it's just not solvable. Today, when reviewing our Portal blueprints and debating the latest fashion trend of leg warmers, F asked me an odd question. He said that the plans in these blueprints were unbelievably complex, and he wondered if anyone else had helped me come up with this idea. I internally debated whether I should tell him about my muse. F is a very superstitious man. He crosses himself when he walks over graves, and chastises me for saying, "What the devil?" Although I have always wanted to tell someone about my divine experience, I worry that he might think I've gone mad all these years in seclusion, or worse, that I'm tangled in some kind of unsavory black magic. No matter, I told him that with hard work anything is possible, and gave him a stack of calculations to quintuple. Check. Some secrets are best kept that way. Could F ever truly appreciate the complex fates that brought me and my muse together? It's an interesting dilemma, isn't it? Because I feel like Ford knows that his muse is a little bit black magic, but at the same time, he doesn't want to let it go because he is his muse. But the fact that he's hiding it from Fiddleford is definitely an interesting choice. Because I feel like, I don't know, it is that thing of like, you don't want to sound crazy. But I wonder if he ever showed Fiddleford these journals. I wonder if he ever told him about all of the weird anomalies in Gravity Falls, because that's quite interesting for Fiddleford's character development, I guess. Oh, of course, he probably didn't show him directly, but Fiddleford started the Society of the Blind Eye because he saw so many weird things. And I think the beginning of that was when Fiddleford got stuck in the portal. Remember he accidentally went into the portal during testing, and he saw something, and he was like the triangle devil or whatever. I forget what he said, but he saw the devil with one eye, I think is what he said. So he eventually did see Bill Cipher or something around him, and he was terrified for his life. So that's so amazing. Ooh, the codes page. The codes page. Are we gonna? Oh my god, it doesn't last very long. We need to find out what this secret code stuff is. I think this was something that we solved in the show itself, so I'm not gonna solve this one, at least for now. So Caesar codes at bash A1Z26. And then, of course, you do have the combo code, which is in reverse. So you solve it through A1Z26, and then you flip the alphabet, and then you do a Caesar cipher with a key of 3. It occurs to me that if I must keep secrets from F, I might as well begin writing certain passages of this book in code. Wow. I aced cryptology in college, so this will be fun, at least for me. It would be deeply tedious and annoying for someone trying to decipher it. It amuses me to think of their frustrating effort. That's very interesting. So the reason he was writing in code, and the reason he has this page on codes, is so that Fiddleford wouldn't know. That's crazy. Although he literally did write it all down here, but we won't talk about that. Okay, what is this? 10:37 a.m. kilobytes per second equals 4.6. Knee bounce per second. Okay. Expedition. Today, F came to me in a panic. I can tell he's agitated when his knee is bouncing, and today his kbps, knee bounce per second, was off the charts. He said that powering my portal design would require a temporal displacement hyperdrive, and that by his calculations, humanity wouldn't be able to invent one of those for another 10,000 years. Imagine his surprise when I told him I knew just where we could get such a device. I decided it was time to tell him about Crash Site Omega. I sat him down, told him his entire life was about to change, and delivered the news. Oh, Crash Site Omega is the place where the UFO landed. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. F's reaction did not disappoint. He was in such shock that he pulled out some of his hair. I do worry about his tendency towards anxiety. I may need to train him in advanced forms of meditation in the future. When he finished wrapping his head around the concept and pacing the length of the lab, he became very agitated. I've lost my place. Where is it? He became very... Oh, excited. Sorry, not agitated. Apparently he's had an interest in the subject ever since his cousin Thistlebest, or Thistlebert, I don't know, Thistlebest, claimed that his grandma was taken by some saucer people. Thistlebest did not have his cousin's intellect, so it's settled. We've decided to take a 2-day hike up to the entrance of CSO to unearth the hyperdrive and use it to power our portal. I've already begun packing for the trip. Okay. Modified from tech previously found at CSO, Crash Site Omega, will be necessary to scramble security. Must be careful not to point at the sky. Don't want another downed helicopter incident. That's a magnet gun, which we saw Ford have. A compass. Pioneers thought Gravity Falls was haunted because their compasses went haywire the moment they entered the valley. I know better. Every compass in a 100-mile radius points towards the crash site. Once it spins wildly, you've reached the epicenter. That is interesting. If you ever watched Stranger Things, that's definitely... do you remember the scene? Obviously, there were multiple scenes, but there was a scene where magnets were falling off the walls and stuff like that. And then I think one of the kids got out their compass and they realized it was no longer facing towards the Earth's core, or however compasses work. I don't quite remember, or like I don't know about the magnetic fields of the Earth or whatever. But basically, the compass was facing in a direction of a magnetic field that was stronger than the Earth's. And magnetic fields are, I believe, one of the... No, magnetic fields are strong, I think. Because I know that there are 4 fundamental forces of nature. There's the strong nuclear force, which holds atoms together. There's the weak nuclear force. Or is it nuclear force? I don't know. There's the weak nuclear force, which is like electrons and stuff like that, I think. And then you have gravity, which is very weak. And you have magnetic force, which I think is strong. I think gravity is weak, but you can go very far with it. Like, it has a very big breadth, and then magnetic fields are opposite. I think that's the way it is. I don't know. But either way, compasses are affected by magnets. If you put a magnet next to a compass, it's going to spin round or whatever and do some really weird stuff. So it makes sense that if you have a compass nearby the UFO crash site, that it's going to point towards the UFO crash site because it gives off a stronger magnetic force. Radiation gloves. Wasn't easy modifying these for the extra finger. Jelly beans by Nyums. Of course, that is something that we saw multiple times in the series. My weakness. Always excited when I find a lumpy on strange one. Added them to the collection. The worst snack on earth is toffee peanuts. They stick to your teeth, make a mess. I can agree with that. Survival. We will be venturing into some dangerous parts of the uncharted forest. Brought curses and spells, if need for them arises. Okay, so they're going on an expedition. Day 1. There is nothing quite like... This is cute. There's nothing quite like a lungful of fresh Oregon air to set one's spirits skyward. We spent the morning hiking up the granite pass to the lake, where my secret shortcut through the mountain is located. I remember in my youth I hated physical activity, but since my college years I've developed a rigorous daily physical and mental workout. I love Tesla, but if I look as emaciated as him when I'm in my 70s, shoot me with a death ray. If only my assistant had an exercise regimen like mine. Only one morning, and he's already winded. He took a breather around midday and could be heard grumbling about wanting to invent a pair of robotic legs while he ate his sandwich. He even drew a diagram in the dirt with a stick. Robo legs. While he snacked, his breadcrumbs attracted a rather curious creature. Okay, so we're going back into the creature stuff because, of course, on their adventures, they're going to see more creatures. The platypus. The bizarre red and black checkered beast waddled out of the brush unexpectedly for a bite of F's sandwich. I understand this now. Played. I've heard folklore of these creatures, the source of all lumberjacks' jackets, but assumed it was just a local legend, like the one clean truck stop bathroom. In fact, they are very real and oddly enough smell like maple syrup and bacon. Oh, I really want to meet one. A perfect flannel patterned coat covers its entire body. Young ones are rumored to start with horizontal stripes and only acquire vertical ones once they reach maturity. Highly sought after by the locals. It is said that a jacket made from the platypus's pelt is incredibly warm, impervious to mosquito bites, and goes in and out of fashion every 10 years or so. I would not eat those eggs. Could the legend of the Crocodile be true as well? Crocodile, sorry. I keep seeing that C and thinking it's a G. I mean, you can't blame me, right? Island Head Beast. This is terrifying. I love this art, though. I love it. This is something that Dipper saw, right? In the Dipper shorts. So the Island Head Beast. Giant tooth. Is there a creature beneath the island? Yet another startling discovery at the lake. One of these boulders was in fact an enormous human-like tooth. There was evidence of nerve tissue on the root, plush, crushed mollusks, fish bones, and a broken wristwatch at the crown. Okay. My assistant used a chisel and some dental floss to break free a few pieces as I puzzled over a theory. One giant headache. In my past observations, I've noticed that one of the lake's islands seems to be in a different location every morning. My conclusion is that this island is more kind of living creature and the owner of the tooth. Could it be that this serene mountain lake contains a genuine, submerged Lovecraftian honor? I will have to return to investigate at a later date. Despite this bone-chilling thought, I couldn't help but enjoy the scenery. Yeah, this is beautiful. Even though it's like a simple line art drawing with not any colors or anything, like it feels like this is the sun and it's shining on the river. It's really nice. Despite this bone-chilling thought, I couldn't help but enjoy the scenery. There is no other place in Gravity Falls I would rather be than the lake. It reminds me of my childhood and Glass Shard Beach. Of course, we learned about that in the Tale of Two Stands episode. And then we have some cipher text here, which, oh, wow. Look at this section. This is very interesting. I see some cosmology and stuff in here. Ursa Major, that's talking about bears. Okay, well, and this is a geodite. And this is one of the silhouettes that we saw above. That's quite interesting. This all looks like very interesting stuff. We do have some ciphertext here that we need to solve, but I think we are going to do that next time. I think this is a good place to stop. I think they're going on an adventure and we're going to see some more interesting things, including a secret tunnel behind Trembly Falls. Interesting. So I think this is a good place to stop for now. I am happy to say I'm going to try to make this a weekly series. So stick around until next week to make sure that you catch the episode. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I hope that you're enjoying this series. I think that it is very fascinating to go through all of these pages, and I know that it is going to take a little while to get through them all, but it just means more content for me, and I'm sure that you're enjoying anyway. So make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments as well. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Goodbye.